Howdy nerds, welcome back! Today's video is possibly a bit of a hot topic, but I got the idea working on the last script. In terms of my art journey, I used to consume a lot of tutorial videos. This video also ends up referencing my Draw For Yourself video. Today's speed paint is some paperclip sketching. Once again though, I didn't get to finish this episode in time to put the pages on the side as I have been. Sorry. So as I said, I used to consume tips and do this, not that videos like it was air. Now, it's not bad content. Believe me, as I get further into the YouTube scene, I'm understanding how to hit the algorithm. In fact, a lot of videos that are framed as do this, not that, address that they're not 100% the strict rule to follow. And if you do the wrong side, you're not a bad artist. I've made similar content myself. It's a thing baby artists search for, and they shouldn't be restricted from this kind of content. It all depends on the art style, which can take a while to build, though the type of tips videos you consume tend to dictate your style. I watched a lot of cartoony tip videos, thus I ended up drawing cartoony. Sometimes I still watch those do this, not that style videos. They can be entertaining, and they often contain good tips, framing device aside. I even add these to my comics master doc, which contains a list of videos and channels with content related to comics and certain tips to advertise better or even just to make your workflow better. These videos can be good for the beginning. There's a few basic rules in there that can help you develop your style. I first properly learned of line weight in one of those videos. However, that style of video can be very limiting. As I said before, the do this, not that style of art video is strictly limited to the art style of that artist. A cartoonist probably isn't going to get great advice out of a realism video and vice versa. What's the point of learning about line weight when you don't draw line art? One particular point I have is in the shading side. A typical rule introduced is to never shade in black or use the airbrush. Someone drawing a black and white style obviously isn't going to find use in the never shade in black tip, and a lot of realism artists won't find use in never use an airbrush. In realism videos, ambient lighting is talked about. The color of the sky is reflected back on the subject. I personally break the shading rules a lot. I always do a black shadow under the neck, I use the airbrush in backgrounds, and I use odd colors. For skin, I like to shade in red, but when it comes to backgrounds, hair, and clothes, it actually depends on the comic. Something that you may or may not notice, since I chose analogous colors. In Paperclips, I shade in blue. In Ratu, I shade in purple. Lily has more blue tones, and Ronnie has more red tones. Since Ronnie's main color and her favorite color differ, I decided to go a step away from red, and since I prefer cooler colors on shading anything but skin, I went to purple. There are also certain characters and environments that are gonna be mixed. So that style of videos can be mixed. It's great to learn the rules of the style, but that's the thing. You're learning the style. You don't learn the fundamentals of art from someone saying, do this, not that. You learn the fundamentals of that art style. If you're specifically going into those videos with the fundamentals of art in mind, you'll have a great opportunity to branch out and learn a new style. But as I assume a lot of viewers have, you're not going into it to learn about a style. You're going into it to learn how to draw. It's something that you have to break out of. On one hand, I feel like I definitely benefited from that style of video. It's just a way to present tips for a certain style while talking about things that aren't very well suited for that style. On the other hand though, I sometimes feel stuck in those tips. Again, it's just a framing device, and that's addressed in those videos. At the same time, however, I was 14 when I got into that content. I was young, impressionable, and far more likely to take a do this, not that, seriously. Putting art into boxes like that can be quite limiting. That's nothing against the creators. Again, I still watch that style of content. It can be fun. It's more of a hit to the algorithm. Oh god. How many times am I gonna talk about the algorithm? Regardless, YouTube favors easily clickable content. Do this, not that, falls into that. I can actually see what y'all tend to look up. It's just tips and sketchbook tours. But it's showing me how you got to me, and what videos may be recommending my videos, and how I can cater my videos to what you look up. However unfortunate, why do you think content farms are popular? Or why Elsagate hit as bad as it did? A really important metric is viewer retention. It lets me know that my Draw For Yourself video was pretty good, while a reflection of my art journey wasn't, which I really should have expected. That script got very away from me. But content that's strictly framed as do this, not that, is going to get views. And it's probably going to keep the viewer's attention. do this, not that, is definitely a search term people use a lot. We're in the age of social media, so we're in the age of monetizing whatever we can think of. It's not always a bad thing, as it's led to Let's Play YouTubers such as Markiplier being popular. I'm actively working on my own Minecraft video because I love that game, and it would be wonderful to make a career out of art and playing that game or others. Referencing my Draw For Yourself video further, this is a dream for many. While not everyone wants to, a lot of folks want to monetize their hobby. They can do something they enjoy and make a living off of it. It's a lot more common through social media. A downside to that, though, is what's happened to the modern art experience. Artists can make a living off of posting their art. Amazing! There's been an effect on the baby artists, though. Through social media and trying to monetize, there's a current expected standard of being perfect. Another search term that's common is sketchbook tutorial. A terrible side effect of this otherwise nice idea is that baby artists are being pressured into perfection. They fear doing anything that'll spite those algorithm gods or the TikTok mob. We are killing freedom of expression. That's why I wanted to make a video about drawing for yourself. We're losing that in social media. It's a very unfortunate side effect. And it's certainly not being helped by the limitless tips, tricks, hacks, and tutorial videos. Framing devices to get into the algorithm and be able to monetize your dream are leading to more and more videos like that being created. Tips and tricks are always going to be popular. No matter what it is that you're interested in, you will no doubt find someone who's made tips videos on the topic. They're important to the current world. Being able to look up, say, crochet tutorials was necessary for me to start crocheting. There are countless free patterns on YouTube, and I've been using them to learn to crochet. There are a few comics do this, not that videos that are about setting up the story and how to advertise yourself. I recommend those videos. But this style of content is very limiting for general art advice. I didn't even think about this until I went looking for channels to recommend, but a few months ago, we had the Colleen situation. Ethan Becker made a great video on the situation. It's less about the actual situation and a good tutorial about learning to draw black features. Sam Does Art also made a great video on the art itself, basing it off of Ethan Becker's video, though he also presents another style of guideline. Artists shouldn't be forced to draw anything. Background artist doesn't have to draw characters and vice versa. Is it great to diversify? Absolutely. Is it limiting to draw the same race, body type, and pose over and over? Certainly. A massive thing, though, is that you shouldn't be giving tips for art outside of your niche. If you don't know how something works or how it looks, you have no way of correcting it. Rules are made to be broken. Tips aren't gospel. You don't have to follow them strictly. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone learns from them. Guidelines are there to help you, not keep you stuck in one way. If you find yourself stuck, go find a new perspective. If you're just trying to get into art, don't feel stuck by the amount of tips and tutorials. The amount of tutorials there can be overwhelming, and it's hard to figure out where to start. I honestly don't know exactly how to help you there. What I did was just take from life and random art styles I liked and figured it out as I went. It wasn't really until I got into college and became an art major that I learned some of the fundamentals, and the difference is clear. I'd advise you to go to the bookstore or library and pick up a book. Don't immediately throw yourself into the internet where there's millions of videos and so many different rules to follow that often contradict each other. Go pick up a book and touch grass. You'll be a lot happier because of it. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.